Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike. It is Thursday, the 25th of September. This is our daily recap. We just had a long discussion here in the markets where Mike got to rant for a little while, which was kind of fun. We talked about bubbles and how to approach this market, and you cannot approach this market from a fundamental standpoint. You just kind of have to just say, I'm going to stick with the names that are in play, momentum, buy them on dips until this breaks. And eventually, at some time down the road, it'll break, but that's down the road. So let's take it back to today. Um, the SPY here this morning, we were weak going in, charts, and more charts. We were weak. We sold off for a whole 15 minutes. It was ugly. It was the saddest sell-off I've ever seen in my life. Then we rallied, then we sold back off, and then came back up. And really, what's going on here is we have the market in a weaker phase right now. And we've talked about this, sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur, which is next Wednesday. This has been a tried and true thing for the markets. Doesn't always work, but often does. You're also balancing this out with the fact that we're at the end of the quarter and you're getting a lot of window dressing. Bottom line is we put an all-time high and briefly on Monday sold to the 8-day. Yesterday we broke the 8-day but closed on it. And today with 15 minutes to go, we are under the 8-day but held the 21-day. Okay. I went and marked up the charts. One, we're still inside this channel. While we try to break out of this channel, we have not get a clean break of it yet. Secondly, the end of the channel, the lower end is sitting down here around the 650 area, and the 3% pullbacks at 647.32, 5%, 633.97. Why am I putting them on there? Because you need to understand what you're dealing with. Volume for this week, by the way, guys, remains somewhat elevated. We're at 80 million shares. We'll close over 100 today. There's volume here, a little angst. So let's go into it. What's going on out there? What's taking place? The Qs, similar type trade, a little stronger. IW, when you put your hand on the keyboard wrong, it doesn't work. IWM, similar. The Dow, also similar. The financials down, but you look at JP Morgan still on the 8-day. Goldman slightly weaker, but on the 8-day. Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, you get the idea they're holding in. Energy had a nice day again, pushing up here. Um, BTU has been one of the better names, but came back in. XOM up a little bit. Chevron, none of these particularly going very far, but they're holding in just fine here. What else is going on out there? Let's talk about, names like CAT coming back in after an all-time high. Costco reports tonight, sitting here kind of weak, not doing much. Boeing, after that nice pop earlier this week, not doing much. Looking around the semis, the SMHs, switch off this. This is annoying the living crap out of me when it gets stuck on that zooms. The SMHs, new all-time high, pushed back up here today, holding in better. Intel, yeah. What am I going to say? Intel's at a many-year high. Why is Intel running? Well, because they're asking everybody to take a piece of them. They just went to Apple. Now they've gone to Taiwan Semi. For just $50 a day, you can help an old poor tech company stay afloat and feed their employees. Whatever. But holding. Nvidia today traded that. Should have stayed longer, but had a nice trade off the lows. Got back to 180, but closing under the 8-day. AMD, nice little bounce again back above the moving averages. Avgo remains kind of but holding. Same thing with Oracle. When we look around, Oracle in that gap, not looking great, but 21 days right there. Palantir, huge bounce back today, but came off the highs. Hood, after putting an all-time high in yesterday, back down on the 8-day here. Coin getting killed because, well, Bitcoin's getting shellacked. You got a breakdown on Bitcoin here. Watch this 107,500 area. That's a big level to hold. If you can't hold that, then we start looking lower. As for the rest of tech and everything else, CoreWeave had a nice pop on the open on that deal with OpenAI, but gave it all back and went red. Microsoft remains weaker and out of play. Amazon continues to get shellacked. Meta also continues weak under the 50-day. Tesla is shorted shortly after the open, but held the 8-day and overall holding okay. Apple continues to look like a rock star, like it wants to hit that all-time high of 260 plus. I've added more of my calls to the October 260s there. Google yesterday closed under the 8-day. Today got a little follow through, but up, but not horrific yet. Still above the 21-day, but filled that gap. IBM had a nice day. I go figure. Old tech back in vogue. I don't know. not so much for Cisco. Baba had a down day. JD, same thing. Bull having a decent day, bouncing back to yesterday's high. Nice, Greg. Overall, guys, when you look at things, I'm not getting really overly concerned here. We came down, we're in a little bit of a small little weakening phase, pullback, call it whatever you want, but we haven't gone anywhere. There's no like big selling pressure in the market. So long Apple calls, full size now, and I'll catch you guys live in the AM.